And welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio. And this time, putting world in World Bigfoot Radio, we're going all the way down below the equator and to the other side of the planet, practically. And we've got a guest from Australia on. But before we get to that, I'd like to mention that do have somebody that is trying to help out the channel right now. And if you need to have better security with your internet and you need a VPN, go try ProXPN. That's PROXPN. They will give you a great discount using the code SAVE1975, SAVE1975. You get 50% off. Totally works great. I use it, really enjoy it. I'm actually apparently coming from some other part of the world than where I'm actually coming from. So that works out nicely. It's kind of fun. You get to see ads from other parts of the world that supposedly you're coming from when you're not really. So you can see what the local ads are in other parts of the world via VPN with ProXPN, as well as having security and not letting third-party, ne'er-do-wells spy on your privacy and cause you problems. Also, if you want to get a hold of me, you can at worldbigfootcentral@yahoo.com. worldbigfootcentral@yahoo.com is my email. And this is an entirely viewer-funded channel at this point. I'd like to thank everybody very, very much. God bless you all, to everybody that helped me out in especially the end of 2018, which was horrifying. I made it through. I've got some better equipment. Hopefully things are going to run better now. And due to your continuing care and donations, I can keep bringing you shows and really interesting guests, and hopefully keep upping the quality here all the time. So thank you very much. God bless everybody that's helped, and the same thing. Right. Well, have you ever had any bad experiences with these guys, or has it always been fairly neutral?
Fairly neutral. I must say I'm very lucky in that regard, but in the same instance, there has been a few instances where it's been wary. So I've actually, one good instance for you. I was walking my dog. This is when we lived in an area in central Queensland on the coast. So I'm walking my dog kind of along the river, which opened up into the open ocean. It was kind of a beachy bush town. And I went to round a corner. As I got to the corner, there was the growl, the real low. We didn't have many koalas around where we were. I think it was just too coastal. But this thing was a lot higher than I was. So I stopped. My dog was quite good. She wouldn't bark at him. I'd already taught her not to bark at him or get eaten. So, yeah, I just stopped there, heeded their advice, obviously, don't go any further. I took a step forward just to test it, just to figure out if that's actually what it meant. And when I took a step forward, the growl came again. So I stopped. I went to take a few steps backwards to turn around and go back the way I came. And a growl came from behind me.
Oh,
so it was
God.
like there was... Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you have to think to yourself, if it was going to eat me, I'd be dead by now. You're close enough to just pick me up or wring my neck. Why haven't you?
You're surrounded.
So I've always approached it logically like that, and just heeded that advice. All right, you want me to stay put? I'll stay put. No worries. And then in that instance, I think about 10, 15 minutes later, I've heard the one behind me start stomping. Stomp, 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 stomp. So I got up and took 2 steps forward, and there was no growl. I took 2 steps back, and he started growling. So I kind of took it as, all right, well, you want me to walk forward? No worries. So I kept walking further down the track, and that's where I found a whole bunch of blood. It's like maybe a wallaby or something that had its brains knocked out on a rock, and it was fresh, like literally just done, because the blood was still running. It was still dripping. So yeah, I saw that and kind of figured it out. I went, oh, okay. Yep. Sorry. I totally interrupted your hunting.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the way I approach it.
Not the best place to be in. Now, weren't you the person that was telling me that you were like mad at your folks and trying to hide out in the woods and a Bigfoot like gave you away, or was that somebody else?
Oh, yep. No, that was me.
All right, well, tell us that one. This one's kind of comical. This reminds me of something that would happen to Kat.
Yeah, exactly. So I was only young, probably about 5, living in that house across from the bushland in the creek,
right
near the skate park. So something was happening at home. You know, everyone was talking to each other. It's a big hubbub, and every time I tried to talk to anyone, they'd just tell me to, shut up, go away, we're doing stuff. So I just took the cue to leave. I walked out of the house, across the road and into the bush. And there I was, happily playing along, making my little houses made out of sticks. And I actually remember thinking, you guys wouldn't even know if I was gone. I could walk away, I could just disappear today, and you wouldn't even know.
You're picturing putting the little, satchel with the stick over your shoulder, walking off down the road with the music from The Incredible Hulk playing. As you're walking away, you guys won't even miss me. I'm leaving forever. Yeah, I know. Kids have all done that.
Yeah, you got it. So here I am, sulking underneath my favorite big tree, and every now and again I'd look behind the tree to see if anyone had noticed that I was gone, and no one did. So after a while, I've heard my name being called. They're calling me up. And right there and then I thought, why should I? Why should I come to you guys? I'm always at your beck and call, yet you're not at my beck and call. How's that fair? You didn't want anything to do with me the whole day. You just wanted me to bugger off and go away. Well, that's what you're going to get. Yeah, just as I thought that to myself, it was like I was being levitated or something of the kind. My whole body picked up without me picking it up. It was like my brother's picking me up by the head, but a lot gentler and a lot smoother. And my body's come flying out from the side of that tree. I guess when you're being held by your head and moved around, your body flies out to the side of you, to the side of your head.
Wouldn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, totally, right? Everyone has that. So yeah, it's gone all black, completely pitch black. I could not see anything. My body's kind of raised up. My feet are off the ground. They're dangling. And it's like I've gone around a corner as I've gone around the tree, and my body's, I guess, flown out with the centrifugal force, whatever you call it. And I've landed my feet on the ground. And then the hand pulled away from my head, and I saw the fingers as it pulled away. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that.
Oh,
I really did.
Yeah,
I really didn't want to go home.
Big fingers too.
Oh yeah, it covered my entire head. I mean, under the jaw, over the face, around the back of the head, because I was trying to look up to see what the hell it was. And as I looked up, it's like a thumb or something. One of the fingers was like gripping in the back of my head. So as I was looking up, it was like actually a better anchor point. So yeah, they've tossed me around, popped me on the ground, and yeah, hung me out to dry. Thanks, guys.
At which point, all of a sudden, your parents saw you. Hey, she just appeared over there on the wood line.
Exactly. Oh, my parents, they screamed at me. What are you doing over there? You're not allowed to be by yourself. Yeah, they weren't happy. And you know what?
Like, damn, Yowie's ratting me out. I could have gotten away too if it hadn't been for you meddling Yowie.
Well, I was thinking at that time, what do you mean? What's the problem? I was going to come live with you guys.
Yeah.
It was
and
quite
they're all
funny
like,
too.
no, go live with the humans. We don't want you.
Exactly. They were like, don't you dare draw attention to us. Oh, hell no. We'll throw you under that bus. Which is funny too, because when I was sitting there making my little houses, I noticed it must have been a young'un. I'm looking at my house, but in my peripherals, right in front of me, I've seen this hairy fella walking as they do, picking their feet up nice and high, but he's walking slowly, almost like a, can you see me? Nope. Take another step. Can you see me? Nope. Take another step. And I was silly enough to let my head move in that moment. Like I tried to glance at it for half a second and it just went, nope, turned around and walked away.
Wow. He was just testing you out. Uh-oh, she's actually paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. I make rookie mistakes like that sometimes. Yeah, you kind of have to steel yourself and pretend like, I can't see you. What are you talking about? I'm just looking at that bird over there.
Yep. Yeah.
Nope.
The more you do that, the more they'll try and get your attention, and they'll, get closer and closer and make more and more obvious that they're there.
Exactly. Like I've never gone looking for them. I wanted nothing to do with them, but they just happened to be there.
Well, it sounds like they liked you because on the one hand, well, they liked you living with your folks. They didn't want you living with them. But they, it isn't like they're trying to grab you and run off in the bush with you or something. They didn't like you that way. But
No.
according to one of the other stories that you told me, they actually were like looking out for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. That was a bit of a weird one. So living in the same house, we'd had a few issues around the time with, I guess, predators of a human nature trying to lure children. There have been a few reports of men trying to pick up young children. So at this time, we had a rule in our schools that no one was to walk home alone. We all had to have a buddy. So I got assigned my buddy that day because we lived just a couple of houses away from each other. And we're walking along, just getting to where the creek was. There was a guy sitting in a truck, like a council patrol truck, and he was singing out to the kids as they went past, Hey, I know your dad, things like that. We've walked past and I was looking at him. I was staring at him. He seemed sus to me. So he sung out to us. He said, hey, I know your dad. He asked me to give you a lift home. And I ignored that one. That's when he started with the, hey, your dad, he asked me to give you $2. Here, come get this $2. And the girl that I was with was actually younger than me. She was probably only about maybe 5-6 years old. I must have been about 7 at the time. I was slightly older than her. She started to freak out a little bit, hey. So I said to her, don't worry, watch this. Sung out to him. I said, hey, yeah, if that $2 is from my dad, what's my dad's name? Yeah, he couldn't tell me his name. Shouted out something.
Spot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Being a bunch of smart ass kids who's, learning from their older brothers helps sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't answer that. I just said, yeah, no, you're trying to pick up kids. I called him out. Hey, I said, you're trying to pick people up and I'm going to go tell my parents. I only live right there. I'm going right now. And yeah, that freaked him out a bit. He closed his door and he was just sitting there and waiting. And I couldn't figure out why he didn't take off. So we're walking up closer to home and getting across the bridge that crosses the creek. And I've seen movement in the bushes. We're running about parallel to where the movement was, but I didn't really think much about it. I just thought, it's someone scoop netting for fish or something. So as we've got just to about across the road from my house, this guy, oh mate, he was screaming. All I could hear was this massive commotion going on in the bush. I could see this massive tree shaking its head off, and it was a massive gum tree. Like I could not pick in my brain what the hell would be able to move it an inch, let alone shake it from side to side.
Right.
So we've kind of stopped. I've I've shielded the younger girl behind me, and we're kind of slowly walking backwards, just to make sure whatever it is doesn't get hurt, because I'm the older one. I knew the rules back then. The older ones have to look after the younger siblings.
Right.
So we stopped there for a couple of seconds, like trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And then the guy was screaming. He was freaking out. He came legging it out of that bush. His arms were above his head. And I mean, they were flailing. He was screaming. Ah! I just couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. He looked like maybe he was going to grab us or something like that. But as he's come out of the bush, he's torn straight past me and looked me dead in the eyes with this look of sheer terror, like he was gonna die. And there we sat for another probably 30 seconds because I wanted to watch where this guy was going. So he's ran all the way back to the other guy who was sitting in the truck, jumped in the truck, and he's still yelling and hollering and pointing over to us and where we are. So I've stopped focusing on him and focused on the bush. Still having the girl behind me, I was holding on to her really, really tight. And man, there was someone in the bush. He was beating it up. He was punching stuff and shaking trees that shouldn't be able to be shaked. I remember hearing snapping too, like whole big trees just being snapped and thrown. I remember hearing one just slamming into a whole bunch of other trees, and it sounded like it was going to break them as well. So, yeah, it wasn't sticking around for that. I figured he wasn't angry at us. Like, we hadn't done anything.
No.
And it just seemed as though he didn't want that guy there. That's his territory. You get the hell out.
Conjecture is that he got jumped by a Yowie.
Little bit. Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, did it make any vocalizations, or was it just busy tearing up all the shrubbery and throwing trees and that kind of stuff?
Oh, he was yelling, but there was no words. He was just like, "Rah! Whoa!"
So it was the Yowie was vocalizing in addition to tearing up everything.
Yeah. It was like yelling. He was really upset, but he wasn't yelling any words in particular. Right.
Well, I can see why the guy would have run screaming out of the woods if something like that was going on. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, two guys who were trying to pick up kids picked up a bit more than they bargained for.
Yeah, they ran into angry guardian Yowie that wasn't putting up.
See, to be honest, I wasn't sure if he had actually just been upset at the fact that they were trying to pick up kids, or if it was because he was in the big fella's area. Because where he came out of, we never used to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Even myself, I knew that wasn't my area. I stay out of that area. I'd go both sides of it, either side, but just not that one spot.
Yeah, it could be a combination of both, too. I mean, according to Kat, they're extremely protective of the Squatchlets and the females. And you're a Squatchlet and a female, and he knows you're a local. He's been watching you for how long? He knows right where you live and what your routine is. Extremely protective of the Squatchlets and the females. And you're a Squatchlet and a female, and he knows you're a local. He's been watching you for how long? He knows right where you live and what your routine is, and who's this goofy guy out in the woods watching you.
Yeah, he was not equipped for bushwalking at all. He looked like a city slicker.
Probably never went in the woods again for the rest of his life.
Hopefully not. If there's one thing that I have figured out, it's that they know that you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen or figured it out, you know what I mean? If you've put all the puzzle pieces together and figured it out, they know. So it's like once you see one, they all see you.
See, that's it. Again, we were getting to that at the beginning of the show. Why is that? Is there like some sort of a telepathic thing or something where they can just go, oh, this one, and some of the natives actually have said that here in North America, that if you see one, that it marks you. so that the other ones will know if you're near them that this person has seen a Bigfoot before and can act according.
Yeah. This comes back to the crazy side of things.
Yeah, this is the woo side of Bigfoot. I'm not afraid to go there.
Yeah, this is part of the reason why I don't tell people this stuff, because they will just think you're crazy. But I've noticed when you go into an area, there's a reason why I've always listened to the Maori mothers, introduce yourself to the land. I feel as though when you're doing that, if they're in the area, they know it. Okay, this is going to sound real whacked. This is going to sound crazy. Like Kat was speaking about mind speak. And I didn't really understand that bit, but I understood when she spoke about an exchange. So I don't know if maybe, your brainwaves have to be a certain brainwave to actually have this happen, but I noticed there is an exchange. There's been times when it's like something has been punched into the back of my head, like an image, and there's information that goes out at the same time, and it flies out the front of your head. Yeah, I know, sounds so crazy. Okay, here's one good one for you, right? Me and my other half were going for a walk. We're exploring an area, and we were just following the trails. I honestly felt that we weren't welcome to deviate from the trail, so we stayed on the trail. And we've hit this corner, and there was 3 hollow stumps. And I've checked the first 2 stumps for feathers or anything. I don't know. I'm curious. I want to see what's in there. But I'm always looking out for feathers for some weird reason. The cat loves them too. Mm-hmm. So, of course, right? So I've looked in these 2 stumps. There was one left right in front of me on the right-hand side. But for some reason, I thought, no, I won't check that one. I'll just keep going. And as I've passed it by, I've gotten this image in my head. It was like punched into my head through the back of my skull. And that was the image of that stump, but from the other side of it. So if you were walking that trail backwards, and at the same time, I saw an image in the front of my head, which was the bush, the surrounding bush around me, the trail, and just the smallest corner of my head looking up at myself. So it was like he gave me the picture of the stump, like look in the stump. And in exchange, like, yeah, I've been able to see myself looking at him. Because I didn't know where it was, but I was looking up in the trees. And yeah, all I could see was just the tiny spot of myself, like in the corner of my eye, the very far peripherals of me looking up at it. Yeah, there's been more than one time that's happened where it's like you get something, but they take something as well.
I've had other researchers describe this to me before, and it's interesting how similar. It's hard to put it into words, but when they come right down to an actual description of it, it's not like you're having a telepathic conversation with them.
No.
It's like they're going to give you one image or one concept, and that's it.
Exactly.
So it's like they're flashing a picture in your mind.
Yep, beautiful. Yep.
They're flashing an idea in your mind, but it's not going to be in words. It's not going to be a telepathic give and take exchange of conversation. It's going to be just like, boom, there's this image. And you're like, where the hell did that come from? And I had this happen to me one time because I was thinking about something completely different. And all of a sudden I had this image in my mind that had nothing to do with anything. And I was like, where did this come from? This is just the weirdest thing ever. What the hell? And it was, and so it's just like, it wasn't a conversation. It wasn't, we tend to think in words, and it wasn't words. It was just a feeling and like a mental image, and that was it.
Yeah, perfect. And it's funny when we actually walked to the end of the trail, and as we came back, I had in my mind to check that stump on the left-hand side. And funnily enough, my other half was walking slightly in front of me, so he got to check it first. And he pulled out the most beautiful king parrot feather. It was perfect. Not a nick in it, not one of its little feather slits were broken.
Wow.
It was.
And what are the odds that would just end up inside of a hollow stump?
What are
Perfectly
the odds?
intact. Yeah, pretty low.
When someone like me goes out looking for feathers.
Yeah.
And that's funny too, hey, because every single time that exchange happens, it makes me do this weird little crazy laugh. Like, to me, the laugh is like, oh my God, I'm going nuts. Yep, it's confirmed.
Curious now, what are those feathers by chance either blue or white?
No, they are green. They're a metallic-y green with a little bit of blue sheen to them, but mostly
you're
shiny
talking about
green.
like a teal sort of.
Yeah, green and slightly teal.
Oh God. Okay.
Why? Why do you ask?
No, one of the things that keeps coming up a lot here in North America is that for some reason they like sky colors. They like blues and they like whites, sky blues and cloud whites. And
wow.
Other colors that are associated with blues and whites and natural, like colors that occur in nature but are rare. They seem to like those. And teal's one. We have ducks that have that feather color, and they're like rare.
Well, yeah, I can tell you this bird is the only one with that green metallic sheen to it. It is so vibrant and so beautiful. I can't pick any other bird in our vicinity here.
And a few other people have mentioned to me before, that seems to be a thing that they actually like and they'll use for a trade item, is like feathers and stuff. And, researchers will sometimes be walking along in an area and there's all kinds of Bigfoot signs and there's a feather stuck into a tree. Well, how did that get there? Who would put that there and why, And just happens to be like where they're walking. They're going in this area, in this direction, and all of a sudden there's, just a feather stuck in the bark of a tree on the path they were walking down.
Having said that, guilty, totally guilty. I'm one of those weirdos who'll just leave a feather in a odd spot, just because it feels right. You don't know why.
Well, I know I had Sunny comment on this when she was up in northern Idaho at her brother's research area, and she found a feather on the trail, and she went, "Oh, this feather must be for me." So she walked over and picked it up. Mm-hmm. And when she picked that up, she noticed another feather not too far away. Oh, look, another feather. I'll go pick it up. Well, when she got done following the trail of feathers, she realized that she was at an excellent ambush spot right next to a pond.
Oh, no.
And then she went, "Oh, God, what did I just do?"
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And then she's just like, "Am I the dumbest rookie ever? They're all around me in these thickets around this watering hole is where they catch their dinner, and it's almost dark. I need to get the hell out of here." Probably
a good idea. But yeah, that's a recurring theme, the exchange. And you might be interested to know, in the northern New South Wales Fall Drive Park that we go to, it happened there to me once, but it was a really, really profound one. It's like they gave me the picture of them sitting around watching us and talking about us, and they took a song, an Incubus song called "I Wish You Were Here." And as they took it, it was weird. It was like a combination of my perfect memory of the song. So when I can think of a song in my head and literally hear every single key, it's like you've got your headphones in.
Right.
That's how, yeah.
I could do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like they took that, my memory of the song, my memory of us jamming that song, playing that song acoustically, and the emotion that comes out when I play it as well, all in one. Like it just was sucked out of the front of my head, and once again made me giggle like a crazy person. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty sure it was a she, but I'm pretty sure she liked that song. We always play it when we go there.
Interesting. You know, that's another thing that people that have had multiple experiences with these things, you can go into an area and you can tell if the damn things are around there or not. And I can't quite figure out how people can do that, but I know I can do it too. I can go into an area where, like, here's an area that I know they're around most of the time. They've got tree structures here. They change them regularly. And, you know, you walk in there sometimes and you're like, oh, they're around here today. And other times you walk in and there's just, like, no sense of presence. And you're like, oh, they're not here today. Somewhere else. And how the hell can we even tell?
Do you tend to get the sense of, like, a heavy, thick air? A thickness to the air?
Only if they're feeling hostile. Then you get that cloud of doom thing that descends on you and you need to leave.
Cool.
But no, it's like there's almost like an electric feeling in the air when they're around.
That's it.
Sort of an expectancy in the air that something's going to happen.
Yep. You hit the nail on the head, man. I find that when you're right, when you feel that heaviness, I find that most of the times I can resolve that because it's my fault. I usually haven't introduced myself. That's when I go, oh, did I? Oh, crap. No, I didn't. Go back, head back all the way to the back of the trail to where the bush opens up. Stop. You know, say your introduction, you know, introduce yourself. You know, I'm Sherrie. This is what I'm here. I'm just doing this. And then head back in. And it'll be a completely different ball game. It'll feel like you said, the expectancy, the buzzing electricity in the air. That's weird.
Yeah, it's also interesting that, you know, a couple times when I've had Jeff with me and there's been, like, we've gone up to Patty Canyon and there's that feeling that, like, uh-oh, they're here this time. And that's when you start hearing things. You start hearing, like, the brush is cracking, a tree falls down over this way. And it's like, you know, these sounds aren't happening. You haven't got this Bigfoot's around feeling, oh, there's nothing here today. Everything's quiet. You're hearing the little birdies chirping, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, here's just the opposite. It's like no animal's making a sound.
Yeah.
But trees are breaking and limbs are cracking. And you're like, yeah, they're here.
Yeah, it's funny like that. Hey, like it is weird. I always thought to myself, why do you make your presence known? You know, don't you want to be stealthy? Don't you want to hide? Why do you make yourself so known?
Well, see, that's why I don't make my presence known. I've never bothered to do that ever.
Yeah.
And I just figure, like, why? Because they've always got a sentry out. They know as soon as you walk in the woods, they're following you all the time. And I'll guarantee you, if you walk up to where their structures are and follow a marker to another structure, they're on you like glue every time you go in the woods after that. They're paying special attention to you because you know that they're making this stuff and how to find other stuff they've made. They really are curious about you. So they're going to be watching you like a hawk at that point.
Yeah, and they're going to be watching you to see if you obey the road signs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If you can figure out what their trail markers are so you can, like, follow their trails to where they've got other stuff, that really kind of freaks them out a lot. And then you stop and, like, look at their tracks along the way and stuff. That freaks them out a lot, too. Humans aren't supposed to be able to figure that stuff out. They don't like that when we can find signs of them and can, like, follow their trails around and stuff. It kind of freaks them out a lot.
That's kind of part of the reason why I never have. I've never, even if and when I find tracks, I don't make a big deal about it. I'll look at it, leave my footprint next to it to see, you know, size comparison kind of thing. Not say anything about it, just keep moseying on like, oh, that's unusual. Huh, how about that?
We stopped long enough to throw a tape measure down next to it and take a picture, and then we just mosey along and look for the next track.
Oh,
how interesting. Because it's like, you know, we don't bother to stop and take cast or anything. Out here, most of the time, the substrate doesn't allow for it. You haven't got enough depth to the print to actually get any kind of a cast off of it anyway. And secondarily, what do I want to cast for? It's, like a big clumsy trophy that's, heavy and needs to be stored and breaks easy. And look, I got a picture of the track. Isn't that just as good? As far as I'm concerned, it is. Unless it's got dermal ridges on it that you want to preserve. Why bother?
That's it. I mean, they're all over you too. They know that you're interested in them. So why are you interested in us? Yeah,
exactly. Well, it was like when we went up to Hidden Valley there. I know that they're in some of these little wet, marshy, glades that are near there. There's these little, they look like fields, but they're not really. They're like, there's about 3 or 4 inches of water, but it looks like the field otherwise. And there's these little drainage ditches, and there's all these little rivers and streams. This whole area is just wet, with hills in between. And we're at this camp next to this little river, and I go, well, when we get up tomorrow, we'll just go over that direction. And he goes, what makes you think they're over there? And I'm like, well, I found structures over there before. So we get up in the morning, we walk literally, there's a wide spot in the road, so maybe 60 feet from camp or on the other side of the road. We walk about another 30 feet into the woods, over a little drainage ditch, and there's an 18-inch track. Well, gee, this was tough. And it's like they're right on the trail. If you're going to leave this camp and go into the trail on the other side of the woods, you're going to walk right past this track. So it's not like they're trying to hide their presence very much.
That's what makes me so curious. Why bother leaving a track? And that makes me think, because they do leave them in places where they know you'll find them.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. This was a really obvious spot. As soon as you stepped across that ditch, you were going to see that track. It was the only one that they left there. But if you followed along that trail, and I knew where it turned, it went up the hill and went past all these other big menhirs and structures and stuff that they had further up the hill. And we followed that trail and found all kinds of structures and found like 5 or 6 more tracks. And, like they left the track in the morning. Here, go this way. You'll find all the junk you want to take pictures of. Just go there. Thank you.
Which is, it's weird because when I find that, and most times I'd do it by accident. Like you said, you just be following that oddly thin trail that's like too thin for humans.
Yeah.
Yet, no other animal makes that kind of track because they've got wide legs. You follow that behind the brush and the thicket, just to see what you can find. And once I start seeing the structures or the bent trees, any of that kind of stuff, the road signs and stuff, I feel as though I'm intruding. That's the point where I go, oops, sorry guys, didn't realize I'm a dum-dum. Yep, heading back.
Yeah, I've heard tell that if you actually know what you're doing and you're following one of their trails, that you shouldn't be very quick about it, and you shouldn't be carrying any weapons when you're doing it. Because more than likely they figured out that you're following their trail and they're watching you and trying to decide if you're hunting them or not. So you really don't want to look aggressive at that point.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things going for myself is that, man, I am way more interested in mushrooms than I am in finding them. I don't know why I love mushrooms. They come in all different shapes and sizes. So when I go rummaging through the bush, that's usually the key thing that I'm looking for. Which is funny because sometimes you'll just find mushrooms that have been just pulled up or pulled out of a tree and placed on a rock that you pass by on that trail. Even though the trail's no longer open to bushwalkers, it's overgrown by about 1/2 kilometre, and it's only because you know the shortcuts to getting in there where there are no trails other than the hairy fellas trails.
Yeah.
So who's going to be leaving them there just for you? Mushrooms don't last long either.
No.
They wither.
This spring when we were up in the Yak looking around up there with Grizz and with Mama Bear up there, we were finding these, I don't know what they call them. They look like brains, like a brain coral looking mushroom type thing. And I think it was about as big as your fist or a little bit bigger. They're pretty yummy. They taste kind of like a woody kind of like beef or something like that. They go good to steak. Anyway, we're in the area. She's basically walking around picking up these mushrooms, and I'm looking for tracks and structures. And while I'm looking for tracks and structures, I'm not finding any of either, but I'm seeing plenty of mushrooms. So I keep going, oh, there's 2 more over here. over here behind this thicket, there's 3 more. So she's following around behind me, picking up all these mushrooms. We're getting further and further up the hill, and I can just tell by the way this area looks like this is a travel corridor. And finally, we get maybe a good 100 yards up the hill, and I hear this thud that sounds like somebody just dropped a car out of a tree and it hit the ground. And she comes around these bushes and goes, "Did you hear that?" And I went, "Yeah, it's time for us to go back down the hill." And she goes, "I think so too." And we get back down the hill to the base of the hill, and Grizz has been coming up the hill, and he found a track that I had spotted on the way up, and another one a little bit further up the hill that I didn't spot, and he's standing there taking pictures of them as we're coming back down. And he's like, "Oh, you guys are coming back. Yeah, and we found a bunch of mushrooms, and something up there just jumped down out of the tree, so it's a good time to leave now."
Hey, well, just the fact that you actually heed the warnings is going to give you brownie points. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, what are we going to do? It's like, again, this is grizzly country. Neither of us have a gun. Something really heavy just fell out of a tree. Let's just not go see what it is. Let's go back the other way. And this is where Grizz had actually seen one like 20 years previously walking in the exact direction up this hill that we were basically following this game trail.
Oh, geez. All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
So it's like, they sometimes will use the same trails for generations and generations and generations, which brings me to something interesting. You've probably seen enough of this down in Australia that you can make a call on this. When you find a trail that they use, not like some other animal's trail that they're pressing into service, but an actual trail that they make.
Yep.
Does it ever go just like straight line trail like a regular animal makes? Because I've noticed that when they do their trails, it's like it goes through an area, but it's not really a trail. Like there'll be a piece of it like 20 feet long that looks like a trail, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. And then like 30 feet later, there's another 20 feet of trail, and then there's like nothing. And they'll go through the same area, but they won't step in the same place. They'll step off to the sides of it. So they don't leave this like big beaten down trail that looks like a cow path or a deer trail or something. It's like there's little sections of trail that don't mesh with each other. There's sections in between where there isn't any trail.
Yeah, I've found that in different areas. It's not always the rule though. I've found trails that intersect like an asterisk.
Right.
Like they all intersect at the same area, so it's like every time they want to walk through there, they will use a different direction. So they're not beating.
They'll go through the basic area, but they won't step in the exact same trail. It'll be like, within 15, 20 feet width of an area, but they won't step in the same spot every time.
Yep, that's it. It's like they'll use that trail once, but when they come back the other way, they'll use another trail. And I've found that too, because all the brush is pushed one way. It won't be pushed back the other way. It's like they only use it to go one way.
One direction, and then they go the other way. They go back a different way. Yeah, what I'm bringing up here is that I haven't noticed this so much when you're out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. But where I started noticing this was up in this local recreation area, which is like 35,000 acres. And everywhere where they have a trail that intersects where it goes across either a road or a human trail, they start doing this. Where it's like, if you're on the human trail, you might see there's like, well, that kind of looks like a game trail or something over there. And you'll follow it for like 30 feet and then it just dead ends. There's nothing there. So you lose interest and you go back to the main trail. But no, if you kept going like another 30 or 40 feet, it starts again.
Yeah.
But most people never go that far and never find it.
That's right. And there's usually like a thicket in the middle.
Right.
It's always weirded me out because I always thought to myself, how did you get to the other side of that thicket?
Mm-hmm.
Are you jumping over it or?
God knows.
Well, because there's never any push marks through the thicket. I couldn't find a trail around it. It just started dead on the other side.
Well, I've seen other times too where they'll leave a false trail going up to a thicket or something, and then they just back trail themselves and they actually go around it. So it's, you don't really see where they left the trail in the first place because they go up a tree or something. So there's no mark on the ground. Where'd this trail go? It just dead ended at this thicket. There's no way something big could have gone through here. Well, it didn't. It went back and went around it.
That's how I started getting suspect on on the trees. You know, there's no way they could have just jumped over this massive thicket. And then you look up, you start looking around, and you notice a bit of like a lump of fur in the tree.
Mm-hmm. With some bark missing here and a snapped off branch over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Those people that are looking for Bigfoot never think to look up. And the limit, they're not like bears. I mean, bears, there's a certain weight limit. Beyond that, they generally won't try and climb a tree. They're just too big to do it. That does not apply to Bigfoot. If the tree can hold their weight, they can climb it. It doesn't matter how damn big they are. If the tree will hold their weight, they can climb it.
Yeah, sometimes even if it won't, they'll still try.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes they do that for fun, too. They'll climb up to the top of the thing and start swaying back and forth and snap the damn tree off just because it's amusing.
Yeah. Especially if you can land in the tree next to it as well.
Sure.
You know?
You know, this is probably how they achieve some of these amazing effects where you see some of this really weird tangled timber and you're just like, what in the hell could possibly have caused this? Well, yeah, you get some 1,200-pound critter up there swaying back and forth. Watch what happens.
Well, that's how I learned to move from tree to tree like that. You climb like a smaller sapling or even just a big tree, but you have to get all the way to the very end of the limb, and you start swinging that limb back and forth with more force until it swings far enough over to the next tree that you can grab it.
You girls are crazy. Yep. Stay out of the woods. What are you doing?
Country kids, we get bored.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was bored too. I didn't have, our nearest neighbor was like 3/4 of a mile away, so it wasn't like we had a lot of neighbor kids to play with or anything.
Okay, fair call. You win.
Yeah, that was the nearby neighbors. They were the only 3/4 of a mile away. And we didn't play with them anyway. They were evil kids. They were mean kids. No, the nearest kid that I had to play with was actually like 5 miles away or something. So like really out in the middle of nowhere. You know.
Yeah, hence why we got moved into civilization. I think we need some social skills.
Yeah, it's too late for me.
Yeah.
So
they're overrated.
Yeah, thanks. I think we're getting long on program and short on time here. Was there any other encounters that you've had that you wanted to bring up before we run out of time on the show?
Look, I've got a few that I would like to bring up just for behaviour's sake and the behaviour that they show, but I think they might be a bit long. I do. Well,
how about give us one more good one and we can have you back for another show sometime? Well, how about give us one more good one and we can have you back for another show sometime? How's that sound?
Oh, that sounds like a plan. Sounds good. All right, so this is a funny one for you. Anyway, I was telling you about this one just the other day. Apologies, it's been a long day here. So one day I'm out walking the dog. This is in the coastal bushy area, and we've stopped down at a small creek. We were just looking for something to eat. Basically, I was whacking the oyster rocks off and just eating them raw. And I could hear this guy who'd been following me around for ages, but nothing threatening, just curious. What you doing? So we did our own thing, weren't looking around. I've finished up my oysters and I've turned around to my right and I see this big auburn brown tree just standing there. Would have been at least probably about 7 foot tall. They were taller than my parents and anyone else I knew.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at him. He's looked straight at me and he got this little worried look in his eye. And I didn't even notice he'd had a branch in his hand. He's pulled this branch up with a few leaves on it. I mean, it was a tiny little branch. It was something a kid would come up with. He's pulled it up to his face and just put it straight in front of his face. Oh, no, I'm just a tree. A moving tree. A
very furry moving tree.
And he's peering through the leaves, like he's kind of moving his head to be able to see through the different leaves.
Behind this tiny branch.
So
I'm not actually here. Quit looking at me.
That's it, man. I'm just a red cedar.
Well, I think you probably heard about the one where I busted the one pretending to be a stump.
Yeah, I heard
man,
that.
he was like dedicated to the deception. Because I'm looking at him like, wow, that stump looks like it has a face. I'm going to take a picture of that. And I get my look again, and he's glaring at me. And I don't know if that was mind speak or whatnot, but I got this impression that he was going, dude, I'm a stump. And I'm like, yeah, that's a stump. That stump is glaring at me. That's definitely a stump. I'm putting my camera back. I'm going to keep walking right now. And that was like the end of the discussion. I was like, you convinced me. You're a stump. I don't want to die. I'm going to keep walking.
Just a very interesting looking stump.
Yeah, a stump that just happens to have a Bigfoot's face glaring at me.
Well, the funny part about that story, I thought, was that I'm looking at him, you know, trying to cover his face with this piddly little branch. I'm laughing. He, you know, teeth baring. So I think he found that a little bit intimidating. He closed his eyes. He shut his eyes like, well, if I can't see you, you can't see me. Oh my God, this guy's a noob. Seriously. So I've picked up a dry branch that was on the ground, and the leaves were still on it. They were just dry and dead. I've picked it up, showed it to him, like held it forward, and then put it in front of my face and did the exact same thing that he did. Seriously, dude, what was going on there? Well, he figured out the jib was up because he kind of lowered the branch.
It's like, oh, I'm busted. I think she's seen me now. She's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Oh, it's all over. The jib's up. So he just dropped that branch, just very slowly turned around and started walking away.
Busted. Oh, man.
And I'm just cracking up the whole time, you know, like, oh, come on, guy. That was me when I was like 4. You catch up, man.
Well, it's like the little kids when they play peekaboo. They cover their eyes and they think you can't see them, you know? It's just
exactly. For such a big dude.
I can't believe I got caught by this person. I'm going to close my eyes and it's not going to be here. Oh, damn, she's still here.
Oh, geez. And you know what? He still followed me around for the rest of that day. It's like he just didn't bother hiding anymore. He just kind of...
Well, I'm busted. You know I'm here. Why bother hiding at this point?
Oh, it was funny too, you know, because you'd see him probably about 4 meters away, and all you could see was this head sticking out from a side of a tree and a massive set of shoulders on both sides of the tree sticking out.
No.
But it was, you know, kind of like, if I'm behind the tree, I'm safe.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't see
get
me.
me from
Remember,
here.
I'm behind the tree. I'm safe. You can't see me. So quit looking at me.
I'm just a hairy tree, you know.
I'm just a hairy tree.
Your everyday garden variety hairy tree. Yep. So yeah, that was a fun day. Yeah, I remember collecting some long bums. They're like a long cone-shelled snail. They get to about say about 6 inches long.
Wow,
They're really
good
big.
size. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good eating too. They are beautiful. So I've collected a couple of those guys and left them up on a big rock for him, because I thought, you know, you're probably hungry and I'm annoying you. You're obviously just trying to do your thing, but getting distracted by me.
Yeah,
So I
you've been
left them.
following me around all day instead of getting food. You're probably getting hungry.
Exactly. You guys eat all day long. You guys never stop eating. So what's going on here? So I left him a couple of long bums right there on the rock, and on the walk back, as I came back with the dog, I noticed there was one long bum. It looked like he'd been bitten into, and the other 2 were just sitting there. So I don't know if he was young and he just didn't know how to get them out of the shell, or how to beat the shell off and then eat it. But it's like he just took a big old bite out of the shell and got a nice crunchy mouthful. Oh, geez. And they were still alive too. They were still trying to walk away. So I just picked them up and threw them back in the little creek inlet there. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, dude. I tried to help you.
Oh, God. That would have been hilarious. That would have been, just the one hiding behind that little bitty branch. I could picture that way too. That's a really good one.
That's it. Never a dull moment. Oh.
Well, don't let it be said that they don't have a sense of humor, because they do. They definitely have a sense of humor, and it's pretty much slapstick comedy. They like the Three Stooges sort of thing for the most part.
Oh, very, very
Pretty
much.
what you expect. All right. Well, man, it's been really a blast talking to you and getting these stories from down under there in the land of kangaroos and crocodiles.
Down in Australia, mate.
Yeah.
It's where we live.
Throw a few shrimp on the Barbie and drag out the beer because they got good beer in Australia.
Oh, do they? I wasn't aware of this.
I've heard of this. Yep. Yep. It's not just Foster's. There's other good beer there too.
There you go. I'll have to find some and send some to you.
Well, I don't think actually, if you want to have some really good beer, come here because we got some of the best beer in North America right here in this valley that I live in. So yeah, we're extremely spoiled. That's one of the things we do have no shortage of here is incredibly good breweries with awesome beer. So we're really spoiled beer-wise. The rest of the U.S. wishes they were living here. Sorry, guys.
Ba-bong.
Ta-da! Yeah, we have to put up with the miserable long winters and the grizzlies so we can have the good beer. It's worth it.
Yeah, that's a fair trade.
Totally. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in before we get done here?
No, not much really. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, man. It's been an awesome time just talking with you and being able to relate to someone. That is just still the best thing. It just still blows my mind that there are other people out there who know about this stuff. So thanks. Big thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And I always appreciate that too, because it works the same way with me. I run into somebody like you that's got a whole bunch of experiences. They know what they're talking about. I just have such a blast talking to people like you. And that's one of the joys for me of doing this show is to find the guests that have actually had the experiences, that know what they're talking about, and bring them on the show so other people can hear some of the, really, incredibly cool stuff that's happening, and sometimes incredibly terrifying stuff that's happening out there in the real world. And, if Bigfoot's imaginary, we're all having the same hallucination because we're hallucinating the same things all over the world. How's that happen?
Explain that.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're taking pictures of these same hallucinations too,
And they all look the same. That's amazing.
Yeah, all those tree structures we're hallucinating look the same too. That's kind of peculiar.
Science, that crap, scientists.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say just quickly, I did want to give just a quick shout out to a guy I formerly used to work with. His name's Adam. You out there, Adam? Thank you so much. He was one of the only people to understand where I was coming from, found this stuff very, very interesting. And like yourself, he was very encouraging to get it out there. Both like yourself, man. So I'm just glad if I can help someone else and put together the pieces of the puzzle. So cheers, Adam. Cheers, Duke.
Right on. Well, I appreciate that, dear. And it always makes me happy when I have somebody on the show and it does good things for their life because, Bigfoot tends to have a negative impact on people. And then sometimes when they come forward and tell their story, they get so much ridicule and stuff that it's just like makes it even worse instead of making it better. So it's nice when you can connect up to those people that it's actually, they're going to come forward, they're going to give information that's going to help other people. It's going to help them. Sometimes I've had guests come on my show that it's been just like a giant positive in their life. And that really makes me feel great, So in addition to giving information to everybody else that's listening to these shows, the guest that's coming on the show is actually being helped by being on the show. I mean, what a great situation to be in. It's a Rotary Club all over the place there. Win, win, win. Everybody's winning on this one. Winning, winning, winning. It's not a zero-sum game. It's great.
That's it.
Well, we'll definitely have you back on again, dear. I mean, I intend to have more Aussie guests on here. I got a couple more people that I'm trying to get to show up here. If anybody out there knows Rex Gilroy, Rex needs to come on my show, Rex.
Come on, Rex. You want to.
Come on, Rex. Cave in now. You can get on my show before Igor does. You can beat Russia. There's still a chance.
Do it. Just do it.
Because Igor's going to be on my show, you know. So if you want to be on first, you can do it.
Just saying.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
if there is anyone from anywhere in Australia or even New Zealand who has had experiences as well, I totally encourage them to come forward, you know, because we don't hear too much of it from here down under, you know.
And that's the truth. And there's plenty of stuff going on down there in Australia. It's just not getting out very far. The
Yep.
locals are hearing about it, and there's some really good researchers down there that have got channels on YouTube, and they're doing stuff, but it's not getting that much attention, especially in other parts of the world. So, you know, hey, you guys, come on, let's get with it. Let's start telling the rest of the world what you're up to, and get you some more attention. Come on forward. Let's talk about
That's it. Let's make it a global discussion.
That's right. It's all over the planet. It's World Bigfoot Central. Let's talk about it on World Bigfoot Central. So, again, thanks for being on the show, dear. We got to get going here. And until the next time that we all meet here on World Bigfoot Central, I encourage everybody to always pay it forward, be kind to others, safety first, last, and always. Don't flip off the mountain giant. Don't poke Dog Man with a stick. Don't punt the puck, would you? And for God's sakes, whatever you do, do not hug the Wookiee.